What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. AMC red for the second day in a row. Yesterday, after the earnings, it was pulled down, and today it continued to be pulled down a little more. We bounced off that $38 support twice. In this video, I want to give you a quick update on why AMC has been down the past 2 days, and then kind of give you a different view or perspective on AMC. I feel like I haven't done that in just a little bit of time. So we're going to dive into some data, and I just want to give everybody a different perspective. So let's get right into it. First off, as you can see the chart, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart here just so it's a little bit easier for everyone to see. You can see it was pulled down pre-market, little rip out of the gate. We got back up into the 40s and then continued to downtrend pretty much all day long. And if you look at the SPY, which is pretty bloody today as well, very similar pattern. Held up a little bit better pre-market, but as you can see right out of the gate at the open, it popped and it held a little bit around that 467, and then it just sold off pretty much all day long. It was a hard sell-off for the SPY and a little bit pop going back into the close. If you look at the daily chart, and it's funny because I haven't talked about this in a while because our pattern was broken, but if you remember the pattern that I had talked about in numerous videos about these 20 to 25 days of an uptrend of a green period, and then it would go back to that 50 moving average. And it looked like we might see that again. It's a drop down to the 50 moving average, having to bring the SPY back down to about the 450 level. But there was about 25, 26 days of a solid uptrend. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where SPY goes. And now that the gap between where SPY is currently sitting in that 50 moving average is a little bit greater than it was before. I would be interested to see if this pattern continues to pick up. But when it comes to today, it was just a hard sell-off throughout the entire day. And you also do have a holiday tomorrow, and the market is open. All right, the bond markets are closed. The stock market is open, but a lot of traders and investment firms will be running light. Kids are off from school, so expect that to be a little bit weighed when going into the market. All right, let's take a quick look at AMC just on the daily chart to show you guys where it is sitting at when it comes to support. Right now, as you can see, we broke through that 50 a little bit yesterday, held some support for us, bounced off that $38 support, and you can see right here the 100 moving average is sitting right at that about $37 area. So it would be good to see a curl happening, make some higher lows. But let's talk about this whole perspective thing, okay? And one thing I want to mention before we get into it is Evergrande continuing to just kind of skate by on the skin of their teeth. All right, this article just came out, about a half hour ago. Evergrande meets a Wednesday payment deadline for 2 of its bonds. So this is the troubled property giant made a debt payment on at least 2 of its bonds on Wednesday, a company bondholder said, a sign that it may yet again manage to head off default. The company's managed to leap from one deadline to the next, meeting obligations at the last minute. No explanation. All right, looking at this from the outside in, it's just there's only so much time before they're eventually going. This just isn't going to work forever. Skating by the skin of your teeth. Okay, eventually it gets caught up on it. But in other news, I want to take a look at the 13F filings. Okay, and more specifically right here. This I'm sure was talked about on the internet. I'm sure you guys saw tweets about this. But this is Blackrock still. As of a post of November 9th, but reported for Q3, right, which ends the end of September, still had 40 million shares of AMC. And when you think about BlackRock, massive company, all right, and when you look at their portfolio value, it's less than 0.5% of their portfolio, but it's still a large position. I mean, 40 million shares, that's a very, very large position. But when you think about BlackRock, the first thing that came to mind to me about BlackRock was their fact of their interest in buying real estate. Okay, and this article says it all. Investment firms aren't buying all the houses, but they're buying the most important ones. And this one relates really close to me because I've always been involved in real estate. And the last home I purchased was December 2019, and I remember back in 2016 thinking that the market was just overinflated and it's going to pull back. And then look at where we ended up. And so when I think about BlackRock, purchasing their homes, okay, the average home price increased 28%. All right, and they're not just buying everything, they're not inflating the market, they're buying specific homes. Okay, they own about, I think it's about $60 billion in real estate assets. But when I think about BlackRock owning real estate, it says to me that this is an investment firm, a very well-respected investment firm, that can take a step back and see the bigger picture, that it might not happen tomorrow. They might buy their 40 million shares with an average of $47, okay, be sitting at a loss as of right now, but they can see the bigger picture. All right. They know the fundamentals behind this. They know the fundamentals behind real estate. All right. Real estate's a little bit different. They're going to be getting some cash flow on their real estate, and naturally the home prices are going to increase. Chances are BlackRock, yeah, they probably are lending out their shares, getting some residual income from that lending, just like they're doing when it's renting real estate. But they know that in time, the price is going to increase because of the research that not only they have done, but also what we have done, all right, as AMC holders, and what everybody else has shared as a content creator, okay, or a writer anywhere. All right, they can see the bigger picture. And that's one thing that I really feel like I haven't talked about in quite some time. I feel like I used to always give a different perspective on AMC, and it became just so comfortable to me, okay, holding AMC, continuing to hold AMC, that I kind of got a little bit away from it. So I hope that little, gives you guys a little bit of perspective on that. Yeah, it might go back down to 36, 32 levels. All right, bounce off the 200 moving average, might go up to 55, back down to, all right. But when it comes to the bigger picture, this is an investment firm that can see that bigger picture. And if you are sitting here saying to yourself, okay, well, they're lending out some of the shares, hurting, the squeeze from happening and so forth, but they are collecting some revenue on that, right? Because you always got to think about how they're going to, make positive cash flow. Then if you have all your money in AMC and don't want to sell a share, all right, myself and plenty of other people, I've been talking about other plays, trying to just, educate everyone. Then go out, take some money, get a job, get an extra job, all right, make a couple $1,000, all right, and work on utilize those funds to be able to build your cash flow, just like BlackRock is doing. All right. So last up, I want to take a look at the most recent data for the AMC Entertainment institutional ownership. And as you can see right here for Q3, we got 562 million purchased with a 1.67 million sold. All right, this is institutions. And when you look at Q2, 1.19 to 400 million sold. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Q2 ended the end of June after the 70, plus dollar run up. But yeah, these ones that got in at, 20, $30, they saw it hanging around 60 for a little while, saw 100%, and they got out of their positions. And that's exactly where that 409 million. All right. But then you also have a good lump, a good, right here, it's what, about 700, over 700 million that held on to it. And now when you look at Q3, 562 million to 1.67 million. All right. So for all the impatience, the restless, take some money, invest, learn the markets, build your cash flow,